Hi everyone, this is Carrie back with How to Homeschool My Child. I am happy to be here today. It's sort of nice to be inside with the air conditioning because outside it's a bit warm. They told me it was only going to get up to the 90s, and I just asked Mr. Google what the weather was, and he said 101 and it feels like 109. So too bad we're not really at the beach. But you know what? We're talking today about online businesses. Why would I talk to homeschoolers about that? Well, I will give you one reason. A lot of people want a side hustle. Most homeschoolers are a one income family, and so they are looking for ways to make money. Also, we have a lot of teenagers that are looking for a way to make some money, whether it's this summer or whether it's to build an entire business. Some of our speakers at our events are homeschool graduates who have built an online business. So, what I want to do today is talk to you about a little strategy, some things that you could do, whether you're going to want to start an online business or whether you want to do a bricks and mortar or you want to provide a service. It doesn't really matter. This pretty much works to help you narrow down. Now, if you've got kids, the first thing well, maybe not the first thing, but one of the first things I think of is a lemonade stand, and a lemonade stand is a great way. My kids did lemonade stands. They actually sold chocolate chip cookies at Christmas time, and then they used the profits, not for themselves. This was more of a giving season. They used the profits to buy gifts for a missionary family who had children a similar age. So they would have to pay me back for the ingredients, and they had to pay me for the shipping and all of that. And then we would go and buy gifts, and they would wrap them. We'd put them in a box, ship them overseas to whichever family. We picked a different family every single year. And to this day, they will still tell me that that is one of their best memories of Christmas. And so it did tie in a family business as well. Not only did they make chocolate chip cookies, they made pumpkin bread. So you could sort of choose. If you are here, whether you're on the replay or the actual or the live, let me know if you have a business and you want to share what it is or what niche it is or what industry it is. Do that. Or if you're looking to start a business or your teenager is looking to start a business, leave a comment here. Maybe you even let your teenagers watch this video. But tell me if it's you or your teenager or you want to do this as a family. And and then if you have ideas about what kind of business, maybe we can have a little bit of dialogue to figure that out. Now, I will tell you the other thing, the reason I call this ideas for family business. If you don't know my background, we've had family businesses since 1985 when we got married. And Steve was a remodeling contractor. When we moved to Idaho for him to go to seminary, we could not take our remodeling company in Texas up to Idaho. And we were only going to be there 4 years, so we didn't have time to really start. So that's when we started exploring online business, and that's where we really delved into it. And that is still to the day how I support myself today. And so that is something that I think is really cool. Everything is online. And and with COVID, look at all the opportunities we have. So, how could you figure out what direction you should go or your kids should go or your family? The thing I forgot to tell you is it was truly a family business, as the online business has been. My kids were in it. We paid them well. We paid them better than their friends were making. In fact, some of their friends asked, "Does your mom have another job?" So we paid well. They learned all sorts of skills. Some skills, maybe it wasn't they'd learned every detail about social media because it was different back in 04, 06, 08. But they learned the concepts that you do when you get online. They learned about SEO, search engine optimization, how to use Google, things like that, how to use QuickBooks, how to keep track of your money, how to ship things, how to do customer service, how to reply nicely to emails, or help people. And so there were a lot of things they learned when they were working in our business. Actually, Ashley even planned some of our conferences and our trips and the hotels, and she was the liaison for us. So those are just a little bit about me. Let's talk about you. How could you decide what you're going to do? I meant to clean my board. Let me see if I can clean it real quickly. And then I can actually demonstrate this a little bit better. To be honest, I was having a little bit of issue right beforehand. My lips started bleeding and I had to go take care of it. And so I didn't get here on time. Okay, it's not the cleanest board, but it'll do for today. Okay, let's say we're going to start with this activity. What I want you to do is brainstorm 10 ideas. Whether you think they're good or not, it doesn't really matter. So you're going to go 10 ideas of whatever things you might want to do. Okay, we only have 9, but I ran out of room. 10 ideas. Maybe that is if your kids do something, maybe babysitting or things with kids. Maybe that is renting your house out for Airbnb. Maybe that's going online and keeping a blog about your homeschool. Maybe that is writing a curriculum of some sort. There are so many ways you can do it. Maybe it's starting a podcast and trying to sell some things on that, or writing a course. Or maybe it is, I mean, you could even start a bricks and mortar store where people, retail store, people come in and out. You may offer a service. Maybe you're an accountant and you want to do that. I don't know, but you write 10 ideas. It needs to be 10. You got to get some ideas out of here. And don't judge them. Just put them down. Then what I want you to do is any of them that you have expertise in, I want you to put a circle around. So maybe those 4 you have expertise in. That means you know something about them and you could tell others or teach others or help others, serve others in that area. Then I want you to come back and I want you to put a square around each one that you would have a passion to do. So maybe it's only number 6 and number 8. If that, and you may have more. This is just an example. The ones that you, ideas, the circles are the ones you have some expertise about. The squares are things that you're passionate about. Then you will come here and that's where you will start to research. And with internet, you can research easily. All right. You may have to, if it's a local business, you may need to go to the Chamber of Commerce or the Small Business Institute in your town, find out what's going on, and they can help you. I know our small business development gives a lot of free counseling and helps people make business plans as well. So what do we do with the research? What you want to do is find out, is there a market? Are there people willing, not just for free stuff, are they willing to pay some money for that service or for that good? Hello, Kalina. How are you? Small power washing company. I run the office side. My 15-year-old works with his dad. He enjoys making money. My 2 youngest would love to have their own little business. Thanks for being here. I was going to say, I didn't tell this story, and we are going to keep going through research. Hunter was our little entrepreneur growing up. The girls were interested, but a lot of times they would just rather make some money. Although Ashley had a business with Steve. It was a gun reloading company, and it was all online. They drop shipped everything, so that was nice. I think power washing would be good. I could use a power washer. I was finding out how hard it was for me to do it myself, because of the strength. But anyway, Hunter, he was always dabbling. He sold potato guns and marshmallow guns that he made himself whenever we go to homeschool conventions. But one time he was into eBay, and this was towards the beginning of eBay, not maybe the beginning, but like 04 and 05. So we go garage selling and we buy about, I don't know, 10 or 20 games. I spent about $30. He came home, he got on eBay, he did his research. He said, I'm not selling that one because they all sell for about $2. That's not worth my time. But we had this dating game, and if anyone knows anything back in the 60s, and it was in good condition, but it was a dating game, and you go around the board and you open the door to find out who your date is, whatever. So he took a lot of pictures, he showed exactly what it was like, and he put it up, and it started going up. The morning that it was, because it was bidding, the morning the bidding was going to end that night, Mom, do you know how much my game is? And I'm like, no. And, I'm not going to get the numbers right, but I want to say it was like $60 or $70, which I thought, wow, that's a lot. If I remember correctly, at the end, that night, he sold that game for $173. He was over at some friend's house, and for 10 minutes, they just refreshed the screen the whole time. My girls came home from camp that day, and we were like, hey, did you see what Hunter's game did? And they're like, no. We told them, they're like, everything he does just turns to gold. So now I don't know that it turns to gold, but he is still an entrepreneur at heart. He has his own business right now. He is not going back to the corporate life in August. He is running a company that is serving his first client is in Hawaii. So he's over there. He's 29 years old, and doing really well and living the life that he loves and traveling. He's in Bali actually right now. Now, he would love to find a wife and settle down, but God just hasn't brought that wife into his life. Okay, so I shared that again just to tell you that he was probably like 12 or 13 when he was doing that. All right, so first you need to see, is there a market? Is there competition? A lot of people are like, oh, there's competition, I don't want to do that. You know, if there is zero competition, maybe that means other people know more than you do. And so you want to maybe think, okay, we need a little competition. Competition is good. There's a balance in there. Is there a market? Are people willing to pay for whatever your service or goods are? Is there competition? And what will you sell? You've got to decide. Am I going to sell a product? Am I going to sell a service? Am I going to go online and sell only digital? Am I going to sell other people's stuff online? We call that affiliate marketing. So last week was the Homeschool Mom Summer Summit, and Richie had a great summer summit. But I told my list about it, and anyone that clicked on my link and bought, I received a commission for that, like a salesperson. Now, I'm the kind of person, I'm not trying to sell you something you don't want. If it's a good fit for you, then I want you to have it. So that's why I like to go back and forth with people that are considering it. So we need to make sure we get rid of that idea of salesperson as the smarmy salesperson. Really, we need to be looking for what our people need and then finding the product that would solve their problem the best. That is a good salesperson. They are listening to their audience. So once you decide, there is a market, there's some competition, and what you will sell, then you might be able to narrow down whichever one it is. Let me just throw a few ideas out at you. And again, I'm going to go back to Hunter. We never did this, but he went through this little exercise and he wanted to do something with dogs. So Steve made him sit down and write down at least 10 ideas of things he could do with dogs. And he was probably about 8 or 9 years old at the time. I don't remember all of them. I do remember dog walking, dog sitting, dog washing. And he was going to make these flyers. Like I said, he never ended up doing it. But let's just say that's something that you want to do. Did you know that there is now a site that people sign up, and it's like Airbnb, and they drop their dog off for however long they're going to be gone, and you take care of them? Why do I know? Because when Hunter was here a year ago or 2 years ago, he's like, Mom, we could make some extra money with this dog sitting thing. So he signed up, and unfortunately, he had to go out of town when the dog was coming. So I got to dog sit. It really wasn't so bad. I enjoyed it a lot. Don't know that I really want to do that. But that is a simple way that people, like Airbnb, you can be like 5-star dog sitters on there, and it's all online. And you get to pick and choose which dogs you want to apply for. Another thing I just heard about, and guess who told me? Hunter, is you can rent space at your house for someone to come park their car. Maybe you have extra driveway space or an extra garage or something that you can do it. And people will pay to come park their car. So I don't really know why, but maybe they just don't have a place to park it at the moment and make money. And I actually did think about doing that because I thought, hey, if I can make an extra $1,500 a month, that's an extra 50. That's going to pay for my internet and my phone bill and probably a little bit more. So any ideas about what you might want to do, or if your kids have ideas, leave them there. Thank you, Kalina, for doing that. If you have any questions, leave them here. Let me just review this quick little process. Oh, let me tell you, I couldn't find the cover of what it is. Steve wrote a little small ebook that we sell for right under $10. It's called Brainstorm Your Business. And it goes into more detail than I did. And it gives you some printables that you can print out. It even tells you at the very end there's a bonus on how you could apply for capital venture if you want partners to go with you. And he goes through a whole little scenario. It's a great process for teens to go through. So basically what we're doing here is we're naming 10 random ideas. They don't have to be all dogs. Then we're circling the ones we have an expertise in. We're putting a square around the ones that we have a passion for. And then the ones that have a circle and a square, we're going to do research on. Now, if you are at all interested in going online and starting an online business, or your teens are, a lot of them think, ooh, cool, I could start a blog, or I could start a podcast or a YouTube channel. There are so many ways. Tomorrow I am teaching my free masterclass called 7 Ways to Make More Money Online. And I will be going through things that I have personally done to make money in my own business. And it started out, even when I wrote it last week, it was going to be all about blogs. But I really decided, especially as I've been reviewing the material, this would work for blogs, it would work for podcasts, it would work for YouTube channels, it could even work for a Facebook group if you can monetize that. So the blogs and the web pages I know work, and but I've also moving out into the YouTube channels, and now I've got this Facebook group. So I'm looking at different ways. But I'll be showing you a lot of ways that you can do this as well. 7 to be exact. It is tomorrow, Tuesday, June 28th at 5 o'clock Eastern Time, 4 Central, 3 Mountain, and 2 Pacific. The link is in the description here, and so if you want to sign up, go ahead and sign up. You can read a lot more. I'm not going to go through everything, but you can read a lot more about what's included in that class as well. That is all I have, but I will tell you that I will be back here. So if you are watching the replay, please tag me, ask a question. I am here to help you, and just walk with you. I think this is a great opportunity for homeschoolers. You have the time. It is a great way to build relationships with your children. We built great relationships. We traveled to conferences. Steve and I would speak, and then the kids would run a booth. We built relationships just working together, having to work through divisions and disagreements. If we were working, Gentry ran our whole shipping department in high school and college. And so she knows how, she's very detail oriented and how to be organized. So there are a lot of things. We all worked together, and they did their little parts, but it all worked together to make a successful business, not to make millions of dollars, but just to provide for our family and then be able to serve the people we're serving and to have money and to be able to use it the way God wants us to use it as well. Hey, I'm Carrie Beck with How to Homeschool My Child. Y'all have a great day.